Hi everyone, Carolyn for Here's What Happened in Carolyn Talks podcast. I love this show. And one of the things that I love about this show is that the two main characters are twins, fraternal twins in particular. I'm a fraternal twin. I have a twin sister. And this is honestly the first time ever that I've seen a Black fraternal, same gender fraternal twin, because same genders are actually very rare. Like to have two fraternal twins who are both girls or both boys is actually very rare. So to have that at the center for the show is like so special for me. So this is a question for everyone, but I want to start with Jalyn and Amir first, because the thing about twins is that people tend to see them as one unit, and like there's usually one that gets kind of pushed just a bit higher. Like the ambitions of one tends to overshadow the ambitions of the other one, which is the dynamic we see between Filthy and JB. Like it seems like, Filthy's ambitions in reaching the NBA, his ultimate goal, has been telegraphed onto JB, and like that's kind of been accepted by everyone, including their parents, like they don't see that JB wants to be an artist. And I want all of you to talk about that dynamic in the show and how that's actually a driving force in this narrative, because we're getting to see these two young men learning to be who they are as basketballers, who they are as sons, but also more importantly, who they are as siblings. And who they are as siblings is not who everyone sees them to be. So I want to start with Jalyn and Amir talking about that twin dynamic and also the individual identity of both your characters. So we can start with Jalyn and then we'll go with Amir.
So the twin dynamic that we've kind of sort of accumulated, it started a minute ago. Before the crossover, we hadn't known each other, and then after starting practice and even the audition, our first audition, that's when the bond started to really solidify and get stronger and stronger. So then that started to be second nature. And I didn't know if you knew or not, but Amir actually has a twin himself. So it was a lot of just watching how they interact with each other, and that helped a lot with it. I've actually got to, have them both as my brothers. And it took me a minute. Like back in the day, I probably couldn't tell you, but they are so different, so very different. And that's how you notice it. So the dynamic that plays on here, I feel as though, like you said, Filthy's ambitions are very strong and, very kind of direct. And JB has always been along for the ride. So I guess it's been kind of underlined to Filthy that, he's good. He's good. And that may sometimes kind of overshadow JB in the way that, I know my brother's okay with it, but have you really asked him? Have you sat down on the bed and, nitpicked him about it? But I think to Filthy, because it's been that way for so long, it's normal to him. And then as you get to see when, JB, really starts to express himself in different ways, Filthy's kind of taken back by it. Like, wait, but, for so long, this is how it was. And now it's changing. And he has some trouble coming to grips with that at first.
But yeah, I was going to say, I feel like with JB wanting to explore different things throughout his life, I don't know if it's fair to say that the parents kind of just don't pay attention to him. I don't think he's ever really expressed that to him before. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like there's even a scene with JB and Crystal where he is kind of expressing to his mom that maybe that's not all I want to do, and she's very supportive about it, and she's encouraging him to try these new things, which I feel like is very important for people to see that. But yeah, no, I'm a twin myself, except I'm an identical twin. And it's definitely like you definitely do have your moments where you feel like, I guess, overshadowed, or sometimes you feel like that you have been grouped in with your brother for so long or your sister for so long that you kind of want to explore who you are as an individual. And that's very important. I feel like every twin goes to a point in their life where they just have to go on their own little journey to find out who they are outside of their sibling. Yeah.
I was going to say, picking up on him speaking about the parents, is not, I don't think it's so much that Crystal doesn't see it. I think she's very discerning. I think she sees that that something is going on, right? And so she wants to get to the bottom of that. What is going on? What is it? Does he have another interest, or, why is he doing certain things right now? So I think she sees it, but she just can't label it, right? Until she digs a little deeper and have that talk with him. Yeah.
And for you, Derek and Kwame, like for Derek, there is the whole basketball side of things for the brothers. And for you, Kwame?
So is that
what specifically?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Well, for Chuck, like he focuses so much on the basketball, like he's not really picking up on like what it is that JB doesn't want to do with his brother. Like he's still seeing like JB as wanting to be like an NBA star. And he's like,
is that what you see?
That's some of what I see. I don't want to spoil too much, but
you know what? Well, you know what? I'm not going to tell you what to see though. But I am going to say this, just in my little practice of the game, there is so many parallels to life. And just like in my life, my drive is to give my sons my attention. My drive is to make sure it's okay to cry when it's time to cry. But when I think I have contributed the most, my wife comes and just puts the cherry on top. And I think that's what it means to be in a full family. And I see Chuck as delivering what he knows to do. And what he knows to do is not necessarily sports, but sports is just a presentation on how to guide these boys with principle, discipline, commitment, passion, and drive. Those are the principles you need for life. However, mom's contribution, her sensitivity is undeniable, but you need both of them. Huh. I'm just messing. Kwame, Dr. Alexander.
Well, I mean, yeah, it all goes back to my father, Dr. Alexander. I have a memoir coming out in May. It's called Why Fathers Cry at Night. It's about everything I've learned about love that I'm trying to teach my daughters, which it turns out ain't a whole lot. But I realized in writing it that I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a tennis star. I wanted to get as far away from words as possible, Carolyn, because my father had written 16 books. He was the publisher, and he made me read the dictionary and the encyclopedia. I loathed words. And here, 38 books later, I realized that the way my father taught me, his way of teaching me how to be a man, how to love, was through loving words. That was what he gave me. And so, I think JB and Filthy are probably two sides of me. Me wanting to do my thing and me wanting to have a father who was proud of me and trying to figure out how to mesh those two worlds together. And so this book, to go back to Reggie's first question, almost became a love letter to my pops.
So this question is for Amir, Kwame, and Sabrina. So I mentioned that I'm a twin, so that's one of the ways that I relate to the show. Another way that I relate to the show is that I'm dyslexic. So when it was revealed that JB has ADHD and he's neurodivergent and he's also struggling in school, that's another way that I related to the character, because I struggled in school and I still struggle being dyslexic and having cognitive impairment. And so we always talk about representation, but for me, when it comes to representation, I always look beyond just having Black people represented on screen. I always look for like the specific ways that we can be represented on screen, which is another way, showing neurodivergent characters. And for JB, for Amir, I want you to talk about portraying this aspect of JB, because this is a personal struggle. This is something that that his brother can't relate to, that his father can't relate to, his mom or his friends can't relate to. And for Sabrina, I want you to talk about how, as your character relates to JB as a mother, but also as a principal, because she has to separate how she speaks to him as a mother with regards to when he's struggling, and how she speaks to him as a principal when he's acting out in class and he's not being able to like communicate the way that other students are communicating. So we need to talk about that. And for Kwame, we need to have to speak about the importance of having these aspects of the character JD represented on screen, because this is, again, we don't get to see many neurodivergent Black characters, especially young Black people represented on screen. So we begin with you, Amir.
All right. Yeah, I was just gonna say that me personally, I don't have ADHD, but I have friends who do, and just kind of nitpicking their brains and also doing research into people with ADHD, looking at how they react to certain situations, how they feel when they're overwhelmed, or just, you know, just kind of reading articles and all these different things written by people who go through that is something I wanted to portray accurately, since I don't have it myself. I didn't want to portray it in a way where they would feel how would I say, like that it just wasn't represented properly. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to make sure that I portrayed that, just doing little things like, you know, shaking my leg or shifting my eyes and things like that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's very important because ADHD is something that a lot of people suffer with, especially, you know, in our Black community. So I wanted to make sure that I did that justice.
I think Crystal definitely brings a balance there. She, again, this is well, obviously she knows that he has it, but there's a moment in the series where she doesn't realize what's going on, what's happening. Once she does, she becomes mom again. You know, she becomes mom and not the principal at that point. So I think it's about balance, a delicate balance when dealing with a situation like that. Yeah, dealing with his ailment that he has, you
know. I really appreciate the question, Carolyn. You know, Muhammad Ali had dyslexia. He got D's and almost flunked out of high school his senior year, right before he won the Olympics in that summer. His teachers wanted to fail him, and the principal was like, "We're not failing the next heavyweight champion of the world." Nobody knew he had dyslexia. They ain't diagnosed it. Half the people in my neighborhood, half my friends had ADHD. Half the people in my house probably had it. Like, we weren't diagnosed with it, you know? And so I think to the degree that we want to showcase the full humanity of Black people, like we want to show us in our everythingness. We want to show all of the parts of us and be true to how we represent our community. And so whether that be dyslexia, whether that be ADHD, other mental health issues, health issues, things we talked about in the beginning, the secrets, really shining a light so that we can then begin to transform ourselves. We can begin to transform our community. We can begin to get the help that Sabrina talked about earlier. That's like so important. It ain't nothing wrong with who we are. You know, we just want to acknowledge and recognize who we are so we can be our full selves.
Great, thank you so much. I that's the thing. The visibility of these disabilities and the things we struggle with. That's the most important thing for me, and showing that it's nothing wrong with being dyslexic or ADHD. You know, like, don't keep them a secret. That's right.